Welcome back everybody, Max here with Catrol Hunting, and today I have another nice bag of junk silver that I can go through with you guys. A beautiful junk silver review today. It took me a couple of weeks longer than I wanted to upload the next video, but I was in Germany for 2 weeks because my younger brother got married, so I didn't really have a chance to do much here in Canada because of that. But today I received a call from one of my silver dealers that he had a nice bag of junk silver for me that I might be interested in, and I ended up making a deal with him. It's probably not the best moment to buy silver right now because we just had a recent uptick in the silver price. We are slightly above 20 US right now, especially because the US dollar went down quite significantly and the oil price also went down quite significantly, which is usually things that, especially the US dollar going down, is usually something that impacts the silver price and makes silver more expensive. So that's the main reason. I don't believe this is a major uptick in silver price, but again, I'm quite a pessimistic person in terms of silver. I don't believe that silver can perform well in a time of a recession like we are in right now. Nevertheless, I didn't really not want to buy this stuff because, and that is something I will talk about a bit later, this is kind of exactly the stuff I like, and it just has been harder to come by for anywhere near spot, so I didn't really wanted to waste this opportunity. We have a bag of US, Canadian and some European junk silver here. The spot price for this whole lot is around 450 Canadian dollars, 448. I paid $465 for this lot. So that is perfectly within my 5% over spot rule that I usually apply for junk silver purchases like this, even though that is something that is getting harder and harder. I'm going to separate this for you guys, go through it a little bit, and then we can talk a little bit about my experiences with the silver premiums and prices, and also I can show you a few of the highlights that are in this bag. Let me pour it out for you guys and then we can see. There's several bags here. So you can see there's a bigger bag with US junk, and then there's another bag with the European and some Canadian dimes. Let me pour this out, sort it, and I will be back shortly. Right guys, we have our beautiful pile of junk silver sorted out here, and as you guys can see, it's a very nice mix of some US stuff and some Canadian dimes, and we also have a variety of international junk silver. Let's talk about the US stuff for a little bit first. This is almost all pretty generic junk silver. I didn't find any really good key dates or any rarities in the US stuff here. The only two things that might be worth mentioning is this 1927S Walking Liberty half dollar, which is definitely a lower mintage, and this 1934S Walking Liberty half dollar. It's not the best dates or anything that commands a lot of premium or extra value, but it's definitely much more rare than a lot of the 40s that you find in most cases in these half dollars. Other than that, we just have very generic US stuff. We have some Franklin half dollars here, we have some Washington quarters, some Roosevelt dimes, and around 10 Mercury dimes here. And as you guys know, if you watched my my previous stuff, I personally love US junk silver. It's the majority of my stack, and I have to say it has been pretty hard to find recently here in Canada. Previously it was not that hard for me. Most of the time my coin shops had more US junk silver than I could actually buy, so I never really had the problem that I couldn't access any for reasonable prices. But I would say in the course of the last year or so, it has been much harder. This was the first lot of US junk that this coin dealer got in quite a while, because I'm there quite frequently, and he usually calls me too if he gets anything in. So it has been really hard to come by, and I've seen the same stories online that just the premiums are crazy, and we are almost at a point where US junk silver is not US junk silver anymore. There's definitely a premium. I have actually seen places where the premium on US junk is higher than the premium on bullion, which is something that I find very crazy and has never been like this before, ever since I've been dealing with these kind of coins. And it's very specific to the US stuff, because if we move on to the Canadian stuff is abundantly available where I am, and abundantly available without premium really. I think that I could easily buy $10,000 face value without a premium right now if I would want to. And I personally don't love Canadian junk silver compared to the US, just because the lower the percentage, the higher the hit is going to be that you take if you resell the product. So with the Canadian stuff, I usually try to stick to the older design stuff because that usually commands a bit more of a premium. And if I can get that for around spot, I have no problem picking it out, and that's the case today. We have a total of $4 face value Canadian dimes, all between 1902 and 1936, so all of it is going to be George the Fifth and Edward the Seventh. And in those years, as you guys know, there's kind of only 4 years to look for that are better, and that is the 1915, which is definitely the lowest mintage and that we didn't find here. And then you have the ones in the late 30s, the 33, 34, 35, which all have mintages significantly under $1 million. And we actually got 4 of those guys here. We have 2 1935 and 2 1933. And this 1935 here is actually in quite decent condition. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this. The zoom is often a problem. But it's a very beautiful 1935 and you don't come across those so often. So I'm very happy with this pickup, and the price was junk silver price for those kind of coins, so that's very, very nice. Then next to it we have our just generic British 50% junk silver, which is something that I personally don't really like to buy, but as I said in the past, often in order to make deals like this happen, you can't cherry pick. If you keep on cherry picking these kind of deals, you won't be getting deals very close to spot for this kind of stuff. So the best is always to buy something as well that is harder for your silver dealer to move. I am 100% sure if I don't buy all the European and some of the Canadian stuff too, that I won't receive calls him selling US junk silver either. So I'm always very careful not to be too picky if I get offered these kind of lots and they're close to spot. Even though the British 50% is definitely one of the worst international junk silver to stack, it is very, very common. There's a lot of it. It has a low silver percentage, which is always a problem if you sell out your coin collections, especially junk silver collections. But in the end, I will find a use for it, and I have no problem like sitting on it and maybe trading it or something like this. The same goes for the British sterling stuff that we have here. Common stuff, but at least it's sterling. And again, it is very, very important to know that the higher the percentage of your silver coins, the less of a fee it costs the refinery to refine your silver. So in the end, that's very relevant. If you ever sell your collection to a coin shop, you will lose more money if you sell lower percentage silver coins. Then on the side here, we have 2 Australian shillings, also 50% silver. We have a small pile of Dutch silver here, which is also the largest silver coin of the day. We have 2 1 golden coins from the 30s here. It's a 1931 and a 24 actually. And then we have this chunky, huge 2.5 golden coin from 1930, also 72% silver. These ones are roughly the size of a Morgan dollar or a Canadian dollar. I think they're actually slightly larger. But they are very, very common and not very highly collectible. But again, I love having big, solid silver coins to stack, so that's exactly the kind of stuff I love to pick up for spot price. And then here in the center we have the more interesting international coins, I would say. We have a 1 shilling from Fiji, and that is not really a rare coin, but you just don't find so many coins from Fiji. So I just wanted to show it because it looks kind of cool. The same for this 1937 New Zealand shilling, again quite common, but again you don't find so much New Zealand coinage. Then we have a 1 mark 1915A German Empire, which is a coin. I have plenty of these and they are 90% silver, and I love the design of these coins and also the personal connection I have to them because they're from my home country, so always like picking these up. We have a 10-cent straight settlement 1926 piece here, and also a Mexican 25 centavos from 1950. Both of them, again, not the rarest coins, but also nothing you see every day in these kind of junk silver lots. Probably the second coolest coin today, in my opinion, is this 1889 2 shilling 1 florin Victorian silver coin from the UK. The Victorian stuff usually commands a small premium, but much less than people would think. These kind of coins are very common, but again, I love finding them for spot. And definitely the coolest coin today is this double-holed Russian 1746 Kopeck, 10 Kopeck piece. A beautiful small silver coin and something you never expect in a junk silver lot. I understand why it's in there. I understand it has two holes, which decreases the numismatic value significantly, and also the obverse is basically without design except for like this little bit of writing you can make up above the one hole. But the date is legible, and I love collecting Russian coins. It's actually one of my favorite things to collect. And this one is from the 1700s, so finding something like this in the junk silver lot is why I do this stuff. Overall, I'm super happy with this purchase. It's maybe could have come like a week earlier when silver was still around 18 US, but now we're back over 20. But nevertheless, I think it was still a good, very good deal. Let me know, guys, what you think about this deal. Would you have purchased it? Do you think I'm too stingy? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's too expensive? Let me know what your favorite coins are. And if you want to support the channel, I would love if you guys could subscribe to this channel. That would help me out a lot. And also I'm going to link my eBay store, and I will have some of these coins at some point on eBay, even though I'm a bit slow there. So if you are interested in some coins, just have a look if you find something cool. And other than that, hit the like button, and I hope I see you guys in a couple of weeks for the next video. Thanks for watching.